How did I stop being a people pleaser? Now, before I get into how, I must explain why I and so many of us become people pleasers in the first place. So it all starts within our infancy, when we are born into this world. I say from the womb to the world. At that very moment, we become indoctrinated. We become programmed to be people pleasers. And the first people we're to please are our parental figures, our guardians, whoever it is that brought us up. So in order for our survival, we need to do things that make that person pleased in order for them to continue to feed us, in order for them to continue to coddle us, which a lot of us didn't get, in order for them to continue to do the things necessary for our survival. Now, what happens is we grow up, and for most of us, around the age of 7 or 8, we stop becoming, we stop fully learning, and we start to memorize. We start to do things that school tells us to do as opposed to going within and learning who we truly are, right? And so from that stage forward, for the next sometimes 50, 60, 70 years, we basically live a life on autopilot, living out the same programs that we had as little old children, as infants, as old babies. And so we find ourselves doing the very same things that led to our survival when we were babies, except now it's no longer about survival. Now it's about approval. Now it's about acceptance. Now it's about validation. It's about people seeing us, people acknowledging, people wanting to be around us, people liking us, liking us, liking us. That's what our personality or our people-pleasing tendencies start to lead to in adulthood. And so again, for most of us, that becomes more and more extreme. The more we feel that we lack of validation, the more that we feel we lack appreciation, we start to do more of these people-pleasing behaviors, the more we get results from them. If we see that it works, that people smile when we do something good for them, even if it means rejecting ourselves, we will do more of those behaviors. So my people-pleasing tendencies came from that space, came from trying to entertain the whole world, regardless of what effect it had on me, in order for others to validate my own existence, in order for others to validate my own self-worth, which is ironic because it's supposed to be self-worth, but it was worth in other people's eyes. So I found myself as a people pleaser, and for almost 2 decades of my life, I spent almost every waking moment trying to blend in, trying to camouflage or trying to perform, trying to do things that would have people accept me. I would not tell the whole truth about things in my life. I would not give my entire true personality because I was afraid that people wouldn't like it. What if I said something that didn't agree with people, right? What if I did things that made people feel uncomfortable? Then I would feel bad because people would no longer validate me. As matter of fact, they're doing the opposite. What if people start ostracizing me for my opinions? So then I said, you know what? It's better not to have an opinion. It's better to switch opinions in every conversation. Better to alter the way that I view the world in every single sit down. Because if I can at least find a way to agree with each and every person around me, then at the very least, I could get just a little bit of approval, just a little bit of validation within that moment. People pleasing, people pleasing. People pleasing. So I found myself in a space where I had lived a majority of my life within a space where people pleasing was the norm. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know I was doing it. It was so natural. It was second nature. It was who I believed I was. I formed my identity around it. And so I just moved that way. And it wasn't until somebody who loved me dearly and I love, somebody who was not afraid to speak the truth to me, said, you know, you have never lived your own true life. You have never made decisions for yourself. And this was shown when I would sometimes dabble within, my true calling, when I would dabble within content creation, within music creation, etc. I would spend a little time, and then when something started working, I would run from it. I would self-sabotage, or I would look to jump into somebody else's project. And my entire career, marketing was literally based on trying to please others, right? Trying to create an image for others and not expressing my own gifts, my own talents, trying to make other people, stars, trying to make other people influencers, as opposed to me getting in front of that camera. Why? Because I felt as if, first of all, I wasn't worthy, and that's a whole nother conversation, right? I felt I wasn't deserving. But on the other hand, it was my second nature. It was my people pleasing tendencies. I was looking to have other people continue to approve me so I could have fuel to run on the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. And so there I was, found myself basically at odds with myself, right? Because I liked to believe on the surface that I was somebody who had their own personality. I was somebody who, stood on what they stood for. That was a conversation I would sometimes have with me in my own mind. But I realized I was justifying my decisions. I was justifying doing things that I didn't truly want to do in order for me to continue people pleasing unconsciously, right? So I tell myself, no, I did want to work on that project for somebody else, even though it's taking away my time for my thing. I did want to work for that company and build what they're building, even though it means that I'm neglecting my own calling and my own purpose. I started to justify myself in saying these are the things I want to do and what resonates with me when it truly was not. And, that's a tendency that a lot of individuals who find themselves people pleasing will also have, is when it gets to a certain extent, we find ourselves justifying, we find ourselves making excuses, placating to it, right? Because in order for us to keep on perpetuating that same behavior, in all honesty, the only way you can do it is by lying to yourself, is by telling yourself something is what it's not. And so what I do, I continue the cap. I had more cap than gown at a graduation. I'm telling you that right now. More cap than a ball game. Each time I would do it, it would reinforce a different part of my neediness, of my codependency, right? My dependency upon other people's validation. And so each time my people pleaser became stronger and stronger and stronger until that became who I was. And now I found myself in a place where I am the complete opposite. And it didn't take a lifetime. And it didn't take me going to therapists and things of that nature. It took me accepting who I was. It took me learning how to self-validate, learning how to go within and find deservedness. It took me having to take a step back from who I thought I was. Step back, no Steph Curry. Boom. Who I thought I was. And I had to come face to face with the fact that I had not lived my life in truth. I had not lived my life in accordance to what I truly was called to do. And if that was the case, then I basically had to start from scratch and ask myself, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I enjoy most? And it sounds wild, but you know what I'm talking about. Again, as a people pleaser, like, you understand, or a recovering people pleaser, you understand what it is to not really know like what you like what you're into. What are the things that are actually you and the things that you picked up along the way in order to mesh into everybody else's story? And so I basically had to go through a process where I was questioning myself, right? Self-awareness kicked in. And I had to think to myself, what are the things that I'm into? What are the things that I actually like? What am I connected to and resonate with the most? And so I found myself doing some of those things that I would dabble in, but then I threw myself into them. And it felt uncomfortable at first because the old people-pleasing identity was saying, this is selfish. You should probably get back to doing everybody else's stuff. And it basically blinded me from seeing that this was the most valuable thing I could give. This was the most value I could add to anybody's life because it was in accordance with my own gifts. But see, when you're in a people-pleasing mentality, you'll do things that you're not even good at, trying to make somebody happy. And most times, they ain't happy. Most times you do it and you just get frustrated. Most times you do it and you just get bitter and you just get resentful because you're doing things you didn't even want to do in the first place and they're not working out and you can't really do them that good. And then all of a sudden the people are mad because it didn't meet their expectations and now you upset. Like, it's just a revolving door, right? It's going nowhere. You ain't going inside or outside. You cold and you hot. So I first had to start reflecting. And in that reflection, I started truly questioning myself as far as who I was. What did I truly enjoy? What did I resonate and connect with most? And once I allowed myself that, it's like the floodgates opened. And once I started taking action, just small steps, right? Though I was in a corporate job that I wasn't resonating with, I started to film, little shorts, right? I started to film reels. I started to film TikToks, just short videos. Not a full video yet, but just short videos and putting them out there. But it was different this time because I said, okay, I can see myself doing this, right? I can I can talk about things that I want to talk about. And, you know, I know that people may not agree, but I felt so fulfilled from doing what I truly desire to do that it started to outweigh the validation that I would get from some or most individuals. And I promise you that there's a power to stepping in your power where you care less and less what the world around you has to say. But you can only step into that place once you take the step into that place. You understand me? You can only step into that place of not caring or not needing to people please when you're walking in alignment with your true calling, with your true purpose. Only then do you discover and unlock who you truly are, and therefore you walk boldly. Because what happens when you're a people pleaser is you don't walk in purpose, you don't walk in your own story, therefore you're always blown by the wind. You stand on nothing. As soon as you start to stand in your own true calling, everything starts to change. Now, I know you thought to yourself, oh, he's going to give me a 3-step, 4-step, 5-step. I sometimes do that. But this one was just straight, straight from the gut, straight from the heart. Like, look, this is my experience. And I know that if you take this and apply this as fuel for your own circumstances and situations, that you will step out of that space of people pleasing and step into a space of greatness, and whatever greatness is for you. Because in order for us to leave something that's been serving us, in order for us to leave a space in which we felt was good enough, we need something that we know is going to be great, something that's going to be immaculate. We need better or greater to step out of good. Like they say, or I think Abraham Lincoln, right? You must be willing to get out of good in order to get to great. Maybe he said that, maybe he didn't. I don't know. The internet said he said it. So we're going to go with that. So in order for us to step out of that place of people pleasing, in order for me to step out of that place, I had to know that there was something greater than validation from others. And I had to know that the validation from others was not going to sustain me. It was not going to fulfill me. And you know that by now. If you've grown, you know that it's not doing its job. And that's why you want to get rid of it. That's why you're looking to separate yourself from that identity. And again, the only way you can truly do it in a sustainable and a very real way is by finding that thing within you that is greater. By introspecting and seeing who you truly are. That means devoting time to yourself, right? Stop running from your own life and start introspecting about who you are. That's all I got for you today. I appreciate you for your time. I appreciate you for your energy. I appreciate you for your attention. If this was something that was of service, of value to you, make sure to support by subscribing first and foremost. And within the caption section, we have some options. Either you can book a consultation call with us if you are ready to get into a program that's going to serve you into becoming your highest and greatest self. Or you can get one of these hoodies. I've been healing lately. Boom. Or you can pick yourself up. Look at that. Pick yourself up. Or you can pick yourself up a copy of the Self-Love Journal. It's 90 days of guidance prompts that's going to lead you into that space. Asking yourself powerful questions is one of the most powerful and transcendent way to shift your paradigm. Appreciate you. Love you. Peace.